Hey folks, so I'll be talking a bit about the advantages of working as an aged care nurse, and hopefully it will encourage some of you guys to get into it. So firstly, there are some job perks that some of you guys might know. There's a lot of them, but I'll talk about my top three. So the first being salary packaging. I'm not an accountant, so I'll explain this quite poorly, but in essence, it's part of your salary gets put aside for everyday expenses such as shopping, groceries, rent, stuff like that. And that part doesn't get taxed. The second one is avoiding traffic. So I know for a lot of people, I get so stressed out when we had to transit to and from work, and especially during those peak hours, it's insane. So with this job, you're working different hours from everyone else, and so chances are there will be no cars on the road. And so it's taking my stress levels down, and generally it just made me feel a lot happier because I don't have to spend so much time in traffic. The third one is getting fit. So I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of walking in this job, and because of that, you're just going to get fit anyway. But for me personally, I've lost about 4 kilos just from walking alone. On top of that, you sort of get tones, and you build muscle from places that you wouldn't usually, and generally you save a lot of money on gym memberships, which is more money for takeout. So the second advantage of working as an aged care nurse is the people that you meet. So most of the people that you meet are really interesting, and being in this role, it really helps people open up to you. You build really good relationships with the residents and their families, and generally, they're actually very, very nice. And you have some really interesting conversations sometimes. You get very good perspective from them. And so on top of that, my co-workers, I believe that they're some of the hardest working people that I've ever met. And somehow they do so while maintaining this patience, this compassion, and this general kindness of them. Sure, we have our disagreements and we argue, because who doesn't argue? But we don't ever hold grudges, and at the end of the day, I know I can rely on them. The third advantage is learning some very valuable skills, and not only just learning them, but learning them in the right situations. Most of the time you get thrown in deep end when you learn these kind of things, and it kind of makes for a very authentic experience. Of course, there are some things that employers always look for: problem solving skills, your time management, thinking under pressure. You do this every day, and so it becomes second nature. Along with this, you get to build a lot of people skills, even without trying, just because you interact with people every day, and you get a pretty instant feedback. You get to build up your medical knowledge really well. So you'll get to know which medication doesn't go well with other medication, what kind of looks infected, how to dress a wound, how to wash your hands really, really, really well. Things that people don't usually get taught. The fourth benefit is just overall job satisfaction. I think it's a combination of all those things that I talked about before, but I think for me, it was escaping that monotony of everyday life. And even though you have a routine when you go into work, that each day is going to be different. It's really pushed me outside of my comfort zone working as an aged care nurse, and I've felt myself grow a lot as a person. I understand for a lot of people, this would be a massive step outside of their comfort zone too. And that's totally understandable, and I totally understand that fear. But if you do have the chance, I urge you to try it, even just for a few months. You get to understand that feeling of making a massive difference in someone's life. And I think that's where my job satisfaction came from. I hope you're able to take something from this, and as always, I love you.